How is it going, guys? Today we are going to continue on those ghost voices videos. We are going to work on that super saw today. And I just decided to show my face a little bit more because apparently people like that. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. We're approaching 500 subs, I think. So thank you guys so much, but let's dive into the video. All right, so the MIDI is the same for this sound as well. And this is how it sounds on its own. So it's a pretty high frequency, pretty spacious sound. So I will take off the processing and then we can go from the start. Okay, so the first thing I did is start with a saw wave and then I pushed it up to 8 voices, detunes at around 0.10. So with that, it sounds like this. And there's some glide going on here as well. Set it to mono and then turn this always on. The portamento is at 10 milliseconds. So we're getting some glide in between each of those notes. The next thing I did is I threw a second octave above that just to give some higher range harmonics in there. The level is a little bit less, but the same thing, saw waves with 8 voices and detunes a little higher, I think. So that sounds like this. And then the next thing I did is add a noise layer over the top. So we're just getting this soft noise layer hitting with each of those notes. So we're getting a little bit of a fuller high end. The next thing was to engage this filter, and I threw envelope 2 on there because I wanted each of those notes to feel a little bit more like a pluck. So we're getting this pluck shape, just this shape here. So each note is a little bit more distinct. I threw on a flanger, and I think this is a big kind of sound design thing that Porter does. It seems like he uses a lot of phasing or flanging just to have some movement with each of the notes. So with that on, sounds like this. So we're getting a little bit more of a fluid motion in between each note. They're not all sounding exactly the same. And I just messed around with the depth knob and the rate a little bit. So this compressor is just doing a little bit of controlling of the sound. It's not doing too much, maybe like 2 dB of gain reduction. Just to tighten it up a little bit. The next thing was to use this EQ. And with this EQ, what I'm doing is I'm really brightening up that high end. So it almost sounds like there's kind of a cymbal crash over the top of each note now. So it's very distinct. This limiter is just cutting some of those peaks off and just pushing it a little bit further back in the mix. So it feels a little smushed now. Then again, I'm using this phaser and I use this LFO Max for Live device. And what this is doing is just modulating the frequency. So you can see it's going back and forth, and that's just giving us a little bit more movement. So we're starting to get a lot more character in the sound. The next thing to do, I just added some delay. Starting to fill out that kind of cavern space, and then the reverb just tops it off. So I set the pre-delay a little bit higher like the first pluck, and this is just so the reverb has its own space. It also feels like it's bouncing off the walls a little bit. And that was kind of what I heard in Porter's. So yeah, that is pretty much it for the super saw. If I play that with the first pluck, it sounds like this. And then if I throw that respace in there. So yeah, that is pretty much it for this video. Thank you guys for watching. I will get started on that bass video real quickly. But yeah, thanks again, guys, and I'll see you in the next one. If you want to see more sound design tutorials like this one, check out my channel where I have many videos going over some of the most famous sounds in electronic music. If you are interested in having more hands-on access to the sounds that I recreate, head to my Patreon where you can become a member and download all of the Ableton project files. I also just created a Fiverr, and if you'd like to request a specific sound to be recreated, you can do so there. The link is in the description, and thank you for watching.